It'll, all these complexities can take place in the balance. And right now, life or out life, this reality here is generally suffering from huge polarity issues. So, what we see in an atom is the interaction between the protons and the electrons, which is a female and male energy, or a positive and negative energy, or an outward or inward energy. And then what we see is the neutral point. Same thing with the surface of the Earth here. The galactic energy versus the Earth's inner energy. And when the two collide, they make the surface of the Earth. That is being neutral. That is neutrality. It is taking a path of your true self. It is not positivity or negativity. It is neither. And I've realized, looking back at my life, and this is what I'm saying about thought, it's not useless at all. You have a memory for a reason. Well, okay. I guess it would be better to say you have a memory, utilize it. In this dualistic nature, we may have been altered from what we are, and it's easy to get upset about all the alterations that humans at large have caused, the flora and fauna that we've just destroyed over the last 10,000 years. It's easy to get upset about that, but again, take the true path and realize that it's upsetting, sure, but it's okay. And, this timeline is much greater than what that seems like. Even in that short time span, so much has happened, but there's a lot more to come. And being that we are, yes, we have this great capacity, and we have been changed to have this capacity to do such great damage, but at the same time we can be such great mediums to create and re-enable the planet. It's so easy to. I just walked into this area, and there's an open area before you enter the forest here, and I just sat there for a moment, and I imagined people just doing whatever, just enjoying themselves and having such a great level of interaction. And we're raised to be so cold in this world, to not talk to one another, to not love one another. Reserve your love for your family and your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever, but don't love anyone else that way, which is just, it's so stupid. But I want to talk about synchronicity for a moment, just because I notice it almost all the time, and I try to stay away from synchronicities in domesticated animals or people or machinery, because I don't really understand them yet. But that dog just barked to go in correlation to something I had just said, but it's impossible for me to not notice anymore. I don't never even try to notice it. It's just always there. And then I was at my friends the other night, just kind of relaxing, and they were constantly distracted by their phones and each other and the TV and the million things going on, and I was just kind of in my own space, just paying attention to the things going on around me. And it's amazing how many conversations go on at once, or not straightforward a linear type conversation. You say words and sounds in a certain fashion, and you expect a response. I'm saying the multi levels of things that go on outside of the most consciousness is awareness. But humans as a medium for change, we've been manipulated over a long time, all of life has, into creating this place we have, that is now, and essentially to be able to do the things we can, or that we have done to Earth. But it's at the same time, there's always other avenues, and we have such great ability to also restore the Earth, and it's very simple. It's very simple. Imagine this forest around me right now, only 60 to 70% of the things here being edible, you know. Look at this place, you know, it's a, I don't know, I get so excited when I'm thinking and looking at it because it's so perfect out here. It really is, but and it's so alive too. There's so much going on. And I think in terms of correlation, or I mean, you know, the human system or ideals or whatever is to apply, you know, what we see at large, you know, the observable lies of the human way currently, or that we're told, you know, and then apply that to all the other conditions, like, oh, everything's in competition, and, you know, it's like, no, there is competition, but everything's not at war, you know, like a mating season, which is a horrible example, but, you know, they have competition in that scenario. When it's done, it's done. They're no longer at war with each other. That's over. They had competition, but they're not competing. You know, you look at things around here, and the humans are like, oh, well, all these things work together because they're all in competition, but there's even science that says that's not true, and that the roots in plants and all the, you know, the male and female parts of the plants, they will communicate with each other and have a little interaction. They will be able to coexist with each other, which is, you know, how life originally is. And because plants are so interconnected with the rest of the life, you know, their roots literally go right into the earth. They're symbiotic. That it's very difficult for them to be manipulated in such a way versus, you know, the fauna. But, you know, this place well, I mean, it's unfortunate too, because with the advent of industrialization or colonization, you know, we wiped out all the trees and used them to, you know, do whatever it is that we did. But so this is, you know, 100 years old at most, which is so young. But again, you know, you don't ever touch this place. You don't touch this place. It just grows perfectly, and you'll see that the plants actually they put more back to the earth than they take themselves. You know, the energy that they extract is given back at an increased rate versus what they take away. And you're like, oh well, you can't ever create more than you destroy. Like, no, it's not doing that. It's converting. It's a conversion process. They take a lot from the air and the water and put it into organic matter, you know, usable matter. And they build up the soil, and then, you know, they regenerate themselves that way. But okay, you know, imagine all this around here, only most of the things being edible, and it's so easily done too. I mean, just look at this system and model this into a way that to be utilized towards food. You know, I mean, you look at all the shrubs and the bushes, and then maybe it's, you know, it's winter right now, so you can't see any of the normal vegetation that would be here, and it's a little dense here also. So there's that. But replace a number of trees with fruit trees, shrubs with edible shrubs, or in berries and whatnot, and then various vines, and then right down to the vegetative growth, you know, the vegetable plants, and you have a perfectly sustainable, everlasting system. I mean, that could go on for eternity, essentially, because that's how forests are set up. They work that way, you know. They don't need any input, but that is the biggest model of change that humans could achieve, really. And if we set up life around those systems, it would change everything, but that'll take a lot of time, and it's only going to happen at a small level. You know, it's people are too focused on the world at large and not enough in their area, and it's kind of always been that way, essentially, even since, well, I mean, even before, like, instant communication and whatnot. We're always told about things that go on outside, and nothing in our neighborhood, you know. And obviously spiritual focus is pretty important there. But that was quite the tangent. But I know how easy